At the end of the day, there wasn't much to it than it is, but yet again, if I had to talk about this all the time, this would be a long video. But yeah, the real story comes out as this, guys. So we have the information story that the semi-main event of the show before the main event was Oliver McCall versus Gary Cobia. Now they had some other so the ring and the environment had an large American flag in the background with musicians, singers behind a bandstand. And I wouldn't say the concerts were that bad. Like the boxing fights ended with quick knockout sessions, and that's about it. So Oliver McCall is 59 years old. Gary Cobia is 52. And story wise, was interesting. So they have both fighters entering in the ring. And Oliver McCall is 6'2", Gary 64, 6'4". They're both over 250 pounds in their career. 3 wins, 4 losses for Gary. 60 wins, 14 losses for McCall. And it's even weird because the announcer announcing the fight was so stupid. He said that Gary Cobia had 3 wins and 4 losses, but on BoxRec it also says that Gary has 1 knockout. Now, they don't count the no contest fights that he had, neither McCall, so, but he just said 3 wins and 4 losses, giving it up for Gary Cobia. And then he announces Oliver McCall and just says, hey, 60 wins, 39 wins by knockout, and 14 losses, which, yeah, stupid announcer. I'll say, though, guys, the show is a little bit amateurish, but I guess that's the way it goes. Now, the fight and the show, I wouldn't say is that much to talk about. From a perspective, I wouldn't really say... Guys, there is a lot of amateurish parts in shows like this, but I don't want to get into them because this would be a long video, and I'm over the hour and a half mark, so technically, the fight is this. Oliver McCall has now been fighting for 40 years now, and there's also another fight saying that Oliver McCall is going to fight again. And when I say again, he's going to fight again on March the 18th back in Nashville in this same event again. So who knows? So the fight starts out like Gary's going clockwise, counterclockwise, and McCall looks like a big potato head, like potato with a big tummy gut going on to him. And the commentators do point out that this is almost like a sparring session for Gary because he's just throwing out punches a little bit, just throwing slow jabs, this or that. And McCall is just throwing great jabs. He's studying the length of the fighter. And yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. Like, it just seemed like there wasn't much to it. Like, the first minute of the fight started out pretty soft. Like, I didn't want the fight to end in the first round knockout, but with the fighters that are in their 50s and McCall 59 years old, I just didn't want to see it. Like, it's great to see him continue breaking the record here of a heavyweight champion at the old age, still winning fights, but it is crazy. Because there is a moment that around the first minute of the fight, like I said, Gary's throwing out punches, sparring him. He's going clockwise around the ring, and McCall throws some interesting punches, scares out Gary at one point, and then throws more punches and stumbles him. And then, for some interesting reason, there is a couple fun moments here where he throws a punch, but McCall stops. And there's time that Gary wasn't really putting a lot of performance in. Like, he hasn't been boxing for over a decade, which is crazy. And then he finally corners him to a rope, and then McCall finally throws some punches, hurts him on, and then for some reason I think Gary threw a low blow on McCall, and then McCall backs up. And the referee does nothing about it because this isn't a real major promotional show. It's just an indie promotional pro boxing event. So it doesn't matter. And then it seemed like probably something happened. It seems like Gary's arm is hurt or something because we would wait to realize after the fight is over that Gary had a shoulder problem. And with 40 seconds left of the fight, Oliver throws a right and a left upstairs, and Gary stumbles to a corner rope, but Oliver stops because this is a 6-round fight and he doesn't want to use all of his energy in the first round. So he just stops because he knows this is going to be an easy win for Gary. So he's not going to use all his energy in the first round, which is smart for him. And then he gets on, throws punches, throws another, and then he corners him to another corner rope. And then Gary clinches him with 15 seconds left of the fight. And then commentators point out with 10 seconds left that Gary's face is bleeding. But yeah, he continues throwing a few more punches, and that's the end of the round. And surprisingly, that's the end of the fight. And by the way, have I forgot to mention that they have interesting, like the ring card girls that were there that night in the performances are pretty fun. I really love the characters and the ring card girls in their suits. It's pretty fun. But yeah, they do show us a stumble in that round of the replay, but that's about it. They show us blood on the chest and the nipples of Gary. And then the round starts, or so we thought round 2 starts, but then it seems like, oh, they're going to call the fight. The coach on Gary's side tells the referee, no more, he's hurt. And then, are you sure this and that, hurt? And then, boom, stops the fight. The commentators thought the fight was going to continue, but nope, the fight ends. Round 1 ending, and that's it. They both hug it out, and that's how it ends. And then we go to the main event, and it ends in a majority draw, and that's the way the show ends. So yeah, it was a great win since, like, Oliver McCall has blocked since November the 2nd, 1985 to now February the 6th, 2025. It was a good win at the time. I wouldn't say it was 4 years left, like if you have to count March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, like, does Oliver McCall have another 9 more months left in his career? Well, even if he does fight again in March, which I don't think he should, like, yes, if he wins in March 18th, another fight, and then maybe if I was him, wait another few months until November of 2025, and if they're ever going to build him and Mike Tyson fighting in November or something, like, that would be an interesting fight to look at, but at the end of the day, I just think this should be the final fight for Oliver McCall. He got a luck win here. First round knockout, and it's his 40th knockout in his career, 61 wins, and that's the way it should end his career. Oliver McCall doesn't have to prove anything anymore. He proved himself that he can still box a little bit, not that professionally anymore, but he proved himself as he can still do an okay job for what he's doing, and that's all that matters. And even though his last 2 fights with Stacey Frazier and Gary Cobia are both in their 50s, probably for the best not to fight anyone else because at that age. So I just say let it go, and that's about it.